Out taking a late evening stroll. This is one of my favorite things to do this time of year because I've got about 2 weeks to do this before the weather just gets a little too cold to be able to enjoy it as much, so I'm trying to soak it in while I can. I do a lot of thinking and a whole lot of songwriting by doing this as well. And there was something that's been kind of weighing heavy on my mind today. I'm probably going to wait a couple of days to post this just to make sure that I actually said everything that I want to say and that I get my point across the way that I want to, because it would be very easy for me to go overboard on something like this. But at the time that I'm recording this, it was just announced this morning that singer-songwriter Todd Snider passed away. And if you keep up with country and Americana music, then you probably are well aware of the struggles that he's had recently. And there's no need to go into it. If you haven't read about that, you can. It was well reported. And it was very sad to hear about that, and even more so to hear that he passed away this morning. As bad as that was by itself to just read that news, then I look at the comments. And sure enough, it's what happens so often when someone who's not a household name passes away. I read comments from people who feel the need to post, "Who? Never heard of him." One person even went as far as to say, "I've never heard of him. Oh well." I can't wrap my mind around that mindset. I just can't. I've never been able to. The thought that just because you haven't heard of someone, that makes them any less valid in what they did for a living, or makes them any less valid as a human being at the time of their passing because you didn't know who they were. Think about the lack of humanity that requires to make that kind of a statement. And think about how unnecessary it was to even say anything to begin with. If you didn't know who he was, if you weren't familiar with him or his music, it would be better to just not say anything. But to go out of your way to say something like that at the time of the man's passing. And as I said, this is not something new. I see it all the time in cases like this. This mindset that somebody has to be a household name, or that you have to be familiar with them and everything that they do in order for it to be valid at all, to be news to people. Here's what might be news to you. Todd Snider, though he was not a platinum-selling, stadium act, household name, he was beloved all around the world by everyone from fellow songwriters to people who were just fans of his music, who made that connection to his songs. Even his more humorous songs brought smiles to people's faces in a time when they really needed that the most. There's value to that, whether you realize it or not. Just because you haven't heard of him doesn't mean that there aren't a whole lot of people who are hurting at the news of his passing right now. I was thinking about how I wanted to end this video because, again, I didn't want to ramble about this, and I may have already, I don't know. But when I think about it, we're on this earth for a purpose. That purpose is different for every single one of us. We're given the chance every day to make an impact with whatever we do and however we do it. It's different for everybody. What's going to be the response when your time comes? Have you had that kind of an impact on people? Can we all just at least make an attempt to make the most out of this life and to try to make an impact however it is that we're meant to do that? And for one single moment, can we please all try to be just a little more human? Rest in peace, Todd Snider. Thanks for all the music.